Benny Johnson is a prime example of how they don't deal in facts in any way, shape, or form. It's all emotion. It's all hyperbole. It's all propaganda. It's all what they want you to believe in the moment to get you to click and like and share and click and like and share and click and like and share. If you don't know who Benny Johnson is, he's one of the louder mouthpieces of the MAGA right-wing movement. He is 100% MAGA, 100% white supremacist, 100% sexist, 100% the poster boy of male fragility. This is Benny Johnson's TikTok account. He's much larger, I believe, on Twitter, and he's just a lion sack of shit. By now, you know that Putin and Trump met on Friday in Alaska in an attempt to try and figure out an end to the Ukraine war. Still can't figure out why America is talking to Russia rather than Ukraine talking to Russia, but that's what happens when you have an idiot for presidency. Trump has long held the position that he wants a ceasefire. Everybody just stop shooting so we can figure out what the next move is. All of the European nations want a ceasefire. Ukraine wants a ceasefire. The United States, via Trump, has wanted a ceasefire. And the only person on the planet, the only leader on the planet, that was against a ceasefire and just wants to end the war by divvying up some land and then we'll stop shooting is Putin. On his way to Alaska on Friday on Air Force One, Trump is talking to Fox News and he says the following. Trump says he won't be happy if Putin does not agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine during Alaska summit. Donald Trump on Friday said he won't be happy if he doesn't walk away from his meeting with President Vladimir Putin with a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Trump told Fox News' Brett Baer he doesn't like to have too many expectations, but I'd like to have a ceasefire. I wouldn't be thrilled if I didn't get it, he said. Everyone says you're not going to get a ceasefire. It'll take place on the second meeting, but I'm not going to be happy with that. The president said he might cancel talks entirely if Friday's summit does not go well. Quote, I won't be happy if I walk away without some form of a ceasefire. Now, I say this, and I say it from the beginning. This is really setting the table today. We're going to have another meeting if things work out, which will be very soon, or we're not going to have any more meetings at all, maybe ever. Trump spoke while flying on Air Force One toward Anchorage, Alaska, where he and his team met with the Russian delegation in the first face-to-face meeting with Putin of the new administration. Trump said that he would not be negotiating peace on Ukraine's behalf, but would rather set the table for negotiations between Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Well, look, it's not for me to negotiate a deal for Ukraine, but I can certainly set the table to negotiate the deal, he said. Our next meeting will have President Zelensky and President Putin and probably me. Okay, you got it all so far? Trump has always wanted a ceasefire. The Europeans have always wanted a ceasefire. Ukraine wants a ceasefire. The only person that doesn't want a ceasefire and just wants to go to a peace deal where they carve up land is Putin. Trump flies to Alaska, meets with Putin. They cut the meeting short. They don't take questions from the press, and Trump immediately flies home. What does Benny Johnson say?
Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump just wrapped their massive press conference in Alaska, and they've both agreed on the structure of a ceasefire deal to move forward and promise no further escalations and want to confer with their own sides and get peace done. That is the major takeaway, but there's something else that happened that's remarkable. Vladimir Putin looked at the press of the world and said, let me tell you something. If this man, pointing at Donald Trump, had been in power over the last 4 years, there would be no Ukraine war. This is something President Trump has said a lot.
Yeah. If Trump was in office, there would never be a war. You just said that they had a framework of a ceasefire. How did you come by this information? By the time you made this post, there had been no printout of their private meeting. Trump hadn't even posted about it, but you came away with the fact that you're sharing with your thousands of followers, right? Hundreds of thousands of followers, that Putin and Trump walked away with the framework of a ceasefire. But that's not what happened. As a matter of fact, what happened is Trump completely reversed his longtime position of a ceasefire and became only the second world leader to want to skip past ceasefire and just go to carving up land in a peace deal because he met with Daddy Putin and Putin told him what's what. Here's the first post Trump made about that meeting. A great and very successful day in Alaska. The meeting with President Vladimir Putin of Russia went very well, as did a late-night phone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine and various European leaders, including the highly respected Secretary General of NATO. It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war, and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. President Zelensky will be coming to D.C., the Oval Office, on Monday afternoon. If all works out well, or if all works out, we will then schedule a meeting with President Putin. Potentially millions of people's lives will be saved. Thank you for your attention to this matter. First of all, let me point out the fact that the ceasefires between Russia and Ukraine have not worked out because every fucking time Putin has violated them. But where are the other world leaders saying that they want they don't want the ceasefire, they want to go straight to a peace deal? And it's come out that peace deal includes Ukraine giving up even more land than Russia already owns, and then Russia's going to stop fighting them. That's the peace deal. That's the equivalent of Russia invading California and making it as far as Denver, let's say. And then the lines kind of stabilize, and Zelensky negotiates on behalf of us with Russia, and Russia goes, listen, if they just give me to Kansas City, I'll stop fighting. And then Zelensky comes back to Trump and goes, I don't know, we should probably take that deal. That is what's happening. But because Trump wanted a ceasefire beforehand, because Trump has always wanted a ceasefire, you spread the lie that they agreed to the framework of a ceasefire, because that's what you wanted to believe. And that's what you need people to hear so that you can be the breaking news guy and get the likes and clicks. But that's not what happened. Trump collapsed like a wet taco. He came apart at the seams and came out of the meeting agreeing with Putin's longtime position, which is the opposite of the entire European community and Trump's own position over the course of the past several years. Benny Johnson cannot be trusted. He is a liar that spreads propaganda that is made up from pulling shit out of his own ass. He had no data on that meeting, but reported to you what he thought Trump was going to come away with. Can't be trusted. And this motherfucker is allowed in the press briefings to ask the press secretary questions. How far we have fallen.